Welcome to video 2. And in this Eat-ology step, what we're going to be talking about is what to eat, a very controversial question. Before we go into a 3-step approach that's going to help you find the perfect fuel for you, let's first talk about cravings. So if you read on the internet, cravings get a bad rap, right? I mean, it's like your mind is playing tricks on you. After all, we don't crave, broccoli and carrots necessarily. It's more like fats and sugars, chemicals and salts. So if you read about cravings, you'll find that there's a dark side that says they'll lead you in the wrong direction. In fact, if you look at a condition called pica or pica, it's when pregnant women crave non-food items, or they crave earth, like dirt and chalk and ice and starch, right? So you might be thinking like, God, human beings our cravings can really mess us up. But guys, at the same time, if you look at the research from Cornell University, Sarah Young, regarding pica or pica, there's actually 2 theories that may suggest that cravings aren't necessarily all bad. So the first is that it kills off pathogens. And second is that when pregnant women were found to be eating clay, what they were able to discover is that oftentimes it was due to a micronutrient deficiency. So it would be iron deficiency. And obviously clay is high in iron. So it makes you wonder, are our cravings our mind playing tricks on us? Or could there be some intelligent basis for consuming non-food items or consuming foods that have been labeled a certain way, a certain negative way? So 284 animal species actually consume non-food items, not just humans. So let's look at this. 1, your cravings, they can be a bad thing, because it can be you craving something that your body doesn't necessarily need, okay? But at the same time, like we said, with pregnant females, well, obviously with pregnant people, they can crave, food items and even non-food items that may actually be, quote, good for you. Let's look at some other factors when it comes to what we eat. Human beings are omnivores, right? So, like bears, we pretty much can eat anything edible. 1. Second is every human being actually has a preferred way to eat. Burger King's tagline is "have it your way," right? And that's really what we're talking about, is people really want to have it their way. So you might be a protein person, a steak and potatoes kind of person, meat and potatoes kind of person. Someone else might be a pescatarian, mostly fish. So we have some structured ways of eating that we're really not willing to give up. And third, not only are we omnivorous and we have a preferred way of eating, but at the same time, human beings have this craving for variety, that even if you give them a certain way to eat, okay, certain foods to eat, we get bored and we need to kind of have a percentage of our diet that's somewhat variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to work these factors, your cravings, the fact that we can eat pretty much anything because we're omnivores, the fact that we have a very preferred way of eating, and also a varied way of eating, a craving for variety, into a system you'll see in a minute. But let's first break some food labels. So when you think of a food that's been considered to make you unhealthy, what comes to mind? Sugar probably jumps out at you, right? Or fats and that kind of thing. Well, let's just consider that for a moment. First of all, calling a food, you notice I said foods that make you unhealthy. I didn't say unhealthy foods, because the word unhealthy doesn't apply, because foods are not healthy or unhealthy. They're more or less nutritious. It's the consumer of food that is healthy, right? So I know it's just semantics, but let's look at this. Sugar gets a bad rap. But if you were to come across a bag of white refined sugar and you were stranded on a desert island for a month, that sugar, I bet you'd agree, is not only going to give you energy give you the mental clarity to make a decision as to how you're going to survive this situation, it's going to save your life. So it can't be all bad. Let's look at when we consider foods that make you healthy, okay? Fruits and vegetables probably come to mind. And when you think of what is it about the fruits and vegetables that make them healthy, okay, you probably are thinking of antioxidants, vitamins and minerals, correct? That's true. But if you look at Scientific American, what they've actually found is that there's something in the fruits and veggies called natural pesticides that actually are what gives them their potency and make you healthy. Okay? So negative foods get the bad rap, such as sugar, and healthy foods, quote healthy foods, foods that make you healthy, get a good rap for the wrong reasons. So there's so much confusion out there, and there's so many areas of debate that we don't really even need to debate any longer, because we might be barking up the wrong tree. So here's a three-step process to help you outsmart those trying to outsmart you, to help you gain clarity in areas where so many different areas and bodies of confusion are being thrown out at you. This is a way to align with your perfect fuel. Okay? 3 steps. Number 1, the next time you feel physically hungry, you feel your tummy talk spot, not hungry, you're going to now have to answer the question, what should I eat? Or what should you eat, right? First thing you do is you ask yourself, what am I craving? What am I craving? Okay, that's step 1. This is a CIF process, not CIA, CIF. So first is, what am I craving? Let's say it's fish and rice. Okay? Fantastic. Now, what most people do is they'll now run to the fridge, run to their phone, and try to find that particular item. I want you to do that, but first, I want you to go to step 2. What am I craving? Number 2 is, what's my intuition telling me that I need to add or subtract to make this a balanced meal? And when I'm saying balance, what I'm saying is balance between what your mind wants and what your body needs, or what your mind needs and what your body wants, however you want to phrase it, but it's fulfilling both mind and body. And second, it's balanced in your mind between negative and positive. It's balanced between items that make you healthy and items that make you unhealthy. So you may find that the chicken and rice craving, when you close your eyes and ask what do we need to add or subtract to the meal, right, turns into fried fish and rice, right, not chicken and rice, or fried fish with some vegetables and a freshly squeezed orange juice. See what I mean? And when you consider that meal, is it balanced with positive and negative food items? You're like, it's absolutely balanced, I'm sure. Now, how do you really know? Because you might be thinking, maybe I'm lying to myself here. You can lie to the whole world, but you can't lie to yourself. And step 3 is going to help you, is going to prove that to you. So what am I craving? What's my intuition asking me to add or subtract to the meal to make it balanced? And number 3, F, what's the feedback I received after consuming that meal? See? So you may have found that you had no bloatedness, no heartburn, your mental clarity was there, your focus was there, your motivation was there, your physical energy was there. There's no emotionality, no guilt after eating, right? Or shame is the better word, after eating, okay? No fear of you carrying on with this lifestyle. Guess what? You know that you just had a balanced meal. You just had a meal that was perfect fuel for you. Let's say you receive negative feedback. You may receive feedback such as the things we discussed earlier, such as an upset tummy, or your typical symptoms that you receive when you don't do something that you should from a digestive point of view, like heartburn or bloatedness, right? You may find you get that. Guess what you do? Journal it. So you write down, what did I crave? What did my intuition ask me to adjust? What feedback did I receive? And then comments. Okay? This is allowing you now to adjust your course. So the next time next time you feel your tummy talk and you're hungry, you ask yourself, what do I crave? What's my intuition asking me? Your intuition there will get sharper and wiser and will allow you to make that appropriate adjustment. And if you get the same feedback, you know you missed something. If you get no feedback in terms of you had a neutral experience with food, so it didn't cause any negative physical, mental, or emotional feedback, you're now uncovering your own cookbook. So think about it. With every meal you consume, you're piecing together your puzzle. You're figuring out your diet. Okay? So this is step 2. Step 1, wait for your tummy to talk. Step 2, align with the perfect fuel for you. Okay, so when you're thinking about your cravings, you got to be careful. There's 2 kinds of cravings, okay? There's outside-in cravings, and then there's inside-out cravings. Okay, an outside-in craving would be, for example, you're at a restaurant and you see a plate go by and you think, oh, that's what I want. Or you are hungry and you see a billboard and you say, I'm going to have that. So these are outside-in cravings, and it's not the best way to make a food eating decision. What's better is an inside-out craving. An inside-out craving is when you actually, like a pregnant woman that wants ice cream at 12 midnight, you know, something from the inside out, okay? So I have the principle that if you see it, hear it, smell it, or read it somehow, it doesn't count because it's influenced your decision. So what you do for an inside-out craving is I would suggest initially, just to get more in tune with yourself, is to close your eyes and just say, what do I feel like eating? I'm hungry now. What do I feel like eating? And see what pops in your head. This is different than sticking your face inside of a fridge, like your head inside of a fridge, or cracking open a menu and saying, oh, that sounds good or smells good. Now, let me just tell you this. There are times when you don't have a craving at all. This is when you're in omnivore mode. You just need fuel. So this is almost like a free day. It doesn't really matter what you eat. So I want you just to keep that in mind when you're considering your cravings. And of course, before you sink your teeth into whatever you're thinking of eating or drinking, check in with your intuition first and say, what do I need to add or subtract to that meal to make it balanced? Okay, balance with mind and body, and balance between foods that make you healthy and foods that make you unhealthy. And of course, pay close attention to your feedback. In step 3, we're going to talk about how to eat in the next video. Till then, align with your gastrointelligence, wait for your tummy to talk, and align with your CIF. Thank you.